Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call to order the Monterey County CCP. Let's take roll call. We'll start down there with Amy.
Amy Miller, Monterey County Behavioral Health.
Lori Medina, Monterey County Social Services.
Susan Chapman, Public Defender.
Chris Rule, Superior Court.
Annie Brereton, County Counsel's Office.
Todd Keating, Probation.
John Mino, Sheriff's Office.
Chris Donnelly, Monterey County Workforce Development Board.
Robin McRae, Community Human Services.
Pam Patterson, DA's Office, Victim Services.
Very good. Do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Let the record reflect there were no additions or corrections to the agenda, and we do have a quorum of the CCP EC voting members.
Thank you. Moving on, do we have any public comment for anything that's not on the agenda?
Good afternoon, Yvonne Stone. If I'm wrong, let me know, but the only thing I see on the agenda is has to do with the budget. So, to start, concerning public comment, I heard somebody say something about the workforce, Monterey County workforce, and I don't know where that is right now. I know where the behavior health workforce is, but I don't know where Monterey County workforce is. And I'm wondering if the budget includes what is happening to people in Chinatown, where some of them are lying on the street, and you call the police and they come and they try talking to the person, but the person is still there. They're not allowed to go in a building. There's one young lady, she's about 23 years old, and somebody else called again, and she's still there. And I see that a number of budget items have to do with behavior health. If I'm out of line, let me know. Have to do with behavior health, but I'm wondering what part of behavior health does that money go to, and why the only thing that we're seeing in the community is more pills being given to people in the behavioral health program. And that we have some really big concerns about how the buildings or the units that they're living in are being run, the staff that's running these units, and why is it so hard to get results when these things are reported. But I'll stop right now and see if I can follow along and see are there any other things going on that will improve the conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent calendar, which is to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 21st, 2019. Do we have any public comment on the minutes? Seeing none, back for discussion. Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for November 21st, 2019?
Moved.
Second? Those in favor? Oh, sorry. Who? Oh, only the EC can second. Suit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The minutes pass. Going on to scheduled items, item 4, we'll receive a fiscal update on AB 109 funding and the fiscal year 1920 budget, and giving that presentation will be Don Souza.
Good afternoon, Chair and partnership members. I'm here today to present the AB 109 fiscal update and the recommended budget for fiscal year 2021. The first item is item 4A in your packet, If you could please refer to the summary of total funding and annual expenditures, and it also includes projected activity through fiscal year '23. The attachment has been updated since the last report in November of 2019 to reflect today's requested fiscal year 2021 budget of $16.3 million as the basis for projected expenditures for next year. For the current fiscal year, and as reported last November, the total fiscal year-end fund balance is projected to be $10.3 million. This projection is premised on the total current budget amount of $15.9 million to be fully spent. This balance of $10.3 million, which includes the reserve, is projected to support yearly cost increases to maintain the current levels of service and/or fund additional services in the following years. For revenue, in the current year and future years, there are no significant changes that have been reported to us by the state for funding for next fiscal year. That concludes my report. Are there any questions on item 4A?
Moving on to B, we'll get a update of the baseline budget for fiscal year 2021.
Okay. On to item 4B. Please refer to the detailed 3-page budget and the summary of no-cost extensions and the augmentation reallocation table in your packets. The recommended budget for next fiscal year is $16.3 million, which is an overall 2% increase from the current year's budget. Of that $16.3 million, the baseline budget that supports the existing programs at current service levels today is $15.9 million and includes 2 one-time extension items, $66,000 for probation's criminal justice infrastructure project and $5,000 for the sheriff's office for jail safety equipment and miscellaneous supplies. Also, presented for approval are 3 augmentation reallocations that total $413,971, and they are as follows. The first is an ongoing request by Behavioral Health at a cost of $24,311 towards support of a 1 FTE psychosocial worker 2 to address the increase in demand for services. The second item is a joint ongoing request from Probation and Behavioral Health for funding to continue services for the DUI court at a total cost of $235,645 due to the current year's expiration of grant funding and a partial one-time cannabis assignment offset. The third is a one-time request from the Sheriff's Office to upgrade existing medical vehicles and towards the purchase of 2 new medical escort vehicles at a cost of $154,015. Are there any questions on item 4B?
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on item 4B? Elliot?
Chairs, members of the CCP, my name is Elliot Ruckowitz-Roberts. I'm with the ACLU of Monterey County, and I just had a question about the pretrial text reminder program. I noticed it's not being funded next year, and it seemed to me that was when you discussed that and incorporating that, it seemed to be such an important new element reminding people about their court dates. So I'm wondering, has this been absorbed by another part of the budget, or have you eliminated the program, and if so, why?
Do you have an answer for that, Chris?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. This was a one-time funding request to pay the cost of creating the infrastructure to be able to send out the text reminders. It was initially scoped as a one-year project, so it was funded 2 years ago. And then we asked for an extension for the current fiscal year ending this June, just because the time to ramp up the project extended beyond the end of last fiscal year. So the project is up and running and will continue to be up and running, and we plan to absorb any remaining costs, which we anticipate to be fairly minimal within the court's budget going forward.
Thank you. Other comments?
Levon Stone. If the Behavioral Health Department is asking for funds, why is it that some of those people are being picked up and put in jail, and they get out, and they're picked up and put in jail again because of their behavior, the way that they're talking, and there is nobody advocating for these people. And that would be a good way to spend some of this money, because we don't see the improvements in the community that is coming out of all the money that's being spent. Now, what about transportation for those on parole who can't get to their meetings on time, who have to travel from other parts of the peninsula and all of that? And like I said, a couple of years ago, I guess some of these funds are going for training. I didn't hear that. For training these people so that they can have better lives, live better lives, and really somebody who can really care and report on what they're doing and how the funds are being spent to help these people. We don't see that. If it's happening, we don't know about it.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to the board for any discussion. Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the recommended public safety budget for fiscal year 2020-21, items A through D as presented?
So moved.
Sue, second? Second. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Court abstains.
Motion passes. Moving on to announcements. The Monterey County CCP Quarterly Statistical Report is now available on the website that's listed in your packet there. And that covers October 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019. Looks like we currently have a meeting scheduled for February 20th, 2020, seeing that the budget passed. There's no need to have that meeting, so it'll be canceled. Our next meeting will be November 19th, 2020 at 3:30 in this board chambers. Sorry, Elliot?
Just a quick request, which I think I made at the last meeting. Now that the CCP is meeting so infrequently, if it would be possible to send the statistical quarterly reports to your serve list, you have a list of people who are interested, that would really be helpful, so that, because we don't have the markers now any longer with the meeting, so that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, we'll look into that. Thank you. Anything else from the board here? All right. We are adjourned.